Hello everyone, it's Meg, and today I'm going to be doing the "If you like this book, you might like this book" video. I did one of these last year and I really enjoyed doing it, so I thought I would do another one. I have some more books to recommend, so if you liked one of the books, you might like the other book. I think it's a really fun video to do, and I'm very excited to share with you the books that I have to talk about today. There's a lot of variety, there's a lot of books that I love, and I really hope that you might find a book in here that you really enjoy. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I have 5 combinations to recommend, and the first one is, if you like Libby Page's books, then you might like The Authenticity Project by Claire Pooley. It is no stranger on this channel that I adore Libby Page's books. This specifically is the Lido, which is her debut. I have also read The 24-Hour Cafe, and I adore her books. They are so refreshing when it comes to the writing style. They have absolutely wonderful characters, lovely storylines, and I really love the sense of community in her books, which is why I think if you like Libby's books, you might like The Authenticity Project, because this is a dual perspective, or should I say it's a multiple perspective book. This is usually a dual perspective, and you get a few glimpses of like other random characters throughout Libby's books, but this is a multiple perspective following 6 characters, and it is based around this book called The Authenticity Project, where all of these characters write their truths in it and read each other's truths, and from that they kind of form a sense of community in real life, and they kind of also get to know each other on a deeper level through reading each other's truths at the same time. And they both definitely have similar vibes. For the factor, I love their writing styles. They're both very easy to read. They both have very distinguishable and engaging characters. They have absolutely heartwarming storylines tackling some really lovely topics, but also some very deep and more serious topics at the same time, and I think they are both very well done in both of these books. And I guess most of all, the thing that I sense most in this book is the sense of community that you have in this book. All of our main characters and also some smaller characters have all come together as a little community to try and save the local Lido, and then obviously through the book of The Authenticity Project, wow, that is a mouthful, the characters in this book all come together and get to know each other on various amounts of different levels. So I feel like they are both wonderful books. They are both adult contemporary, they are both UK authors as well, which is amazing. So if you have read one or the other, maybe pick up the other one. I honestly think if you have read one of these books, you should definitely read the other one. Like, they're just such wonderful, heartwarming books, and will guarantee to put a smile on your face. Next up, if you liked Blood Moon by Lucy Cutheu, you might like The Diary of a Confused Feminist by Kate Weston. These are 2 books that I adore with all of my heart. They are both UK YA. Again, I feel like I've got quite a lot of UK authors on here, which is great. And I read this book last year, I read this book the other month, and I adore both of them. They are both feminism YA novels, and Blood Moon is written in verse, and it is more about like period shaming and online shaming, and how kind of going viral and all that sort of thing can affect people, and it can spiral out of control. And this book is a diary format. It is extremely funny, and it is about our main character Kat in her final year of high school, and it is kind of her journey of becoming a feminist and what she believes to be feminism. There's also amazing mental health rep in here as well, and so many other important topics. But again, I feel like they speak for themselves. I feel like these books do have a lot of comparison when I see them kind of shared online and all that sort of thing. They both obviously have the theme of feminism in here and girl power, which I absolutely adore. They are in very different formats. Like I said, this is a novel in verse, and this is kind of written like a diary format. And they're both very serious. This is definitely a lot funnier, I would say, as Kate is a comedian, and this is definitely a lot more serious, a lot more intense, and takes over a shorter period of time. But they both have very different, similar themes apart from feminism. Obviously there is friendship in here as well, and family dynamics and mental health and all that sort of thing. They are just absolute joys to read, and I cannot recommend them enough. I think they are very important books, especially if you are in high school. I really think you should read these books, both of them. They are really important, have a lot of important topics around kind of women and feminism and growing up and all that sort of thing. Very, very important. Adore both of these with all of my heart, and I definitely think you should pick both of them up if you haven't, or pick one up if you've picked the other up. Next, if you enjoyed the To All the Boys I Loved Before series by Jenny Han, you might like Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney. Of course, this is a very well-known trilogy. I feel like a lot of people know what it is about, a lot of people have read it, and this is actually an arc of Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. It comes out on the 4th of May, so it comes out after this video has gone up, and I read this because I got in a subscription box, and this is actually being compared, it even says it on the back of the book that it is for lovers of To All the Boys I Loved Before, and I really love this series. It's so fun and definitely has a deeper meaning as well, which I love, and obviously we all know, or should know at any rate, what this book is about, which is obviously Lara Jean writes all these love letters to all her crushes, and she kind of keeps them in a hat box in her room, and one day they get sent out and she has to deal with the consequences of that. And that is similar with this book, with our main character Quinn, who is a chronic list maker. She makes lists about everything, even her deepest, darkest fears, and one day she loses her journal and somebody basically blackmails her into doing things on one of the lists, which is like her worst nightmares sort of thing, and if she doesn't do all the things on the list, her whole journal will be exposed to the internet. So again, she has to kind of deal with the fallout of that, and I feel that's where the similarities come along with this. And there's romance in this, they're both romances. I enjoy romance in both of these books, and they are very much coming of age stories about seeing these two characters come out of their shell, have to deal with the consequences of what has happened at the start of the book, and you really see a big amount of growth, and you also see friendships in these books and family dynamics, and obviously they are both written by people of colour, and the main characters are as well, which is really wonderful. So there's some important topics, especially in Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry, there's some very important topics about race as well, and I think these books are both joys. Honestly, they are so fun, but there are definitely a lot of deeper meanings in these books as well, and obviously this is such a popular novel, and I really think this obviously has similar themes, but I feel like it does the theme justice. And if you love To All the Boys I Loved Before, I really think you will enjoy this book. It is just definitely just kind of like that similar vibe, justice, and has so many important topics that need to be discussed more, and I really enjoyed that. If you enjoyed The Places I've Cried in Public by Holly Bourne, you might like Mine by Emily Merrill. Both of these books are absolutely stunning, I just want to say. I read this book when it first came out, I think it was 2019 when I read this book. I read Em's book last year, and Em is my wonderful friend here on BookTube, and as soon as I finished reading it, this book instantly reminded me of Places I Cried in Public. These are books that both deal with very important topics, the main topic being toxic relationships. Specifically, The Places I Cried in Public deals with more like emotional abuse and also rape, and mine deals more with domestic abuse, so just be aware of that obviously before going into these books. And I can't speak for the representation of these, but from what I've seen from other reviews, it's been very well received, and I just think these books are absolutely astounding. They are so well done, and I feel like if you have read one of them, you will have read the other. I feel like quite a lot of people will have read both of them because they're such great books, but I just had to mention it. And you really get to love our characters in this as well, and I love that both of them are set in the north. I'd say our main character in this book is northern and she moves down south, but there are a few parts of the book where she moves back up north because she's from Sheffield, and mine is set in York as well, which is up in the north, and I just adore that because I don't feel like there's that much UKYA that's kind of set in the north of England, so I really enjoy that as a northerner myself. But yes, I think these are absolutely astounding books, extremely important reads. Obviously be aware of the trigger warnings before going into them, but I feel like you should read both of these books if you haven't already, or read the other book if you haven't. Like, they are both absolutely wonderful and I cannot recommend them enough. And finally, if you enjoy Laura Wood's books, I think you would like Splinters of Scarlet by Emily Bain Murphy. It is no surprise how much I love Laura Wood. If you are a regular watcher on my channel, you guys should know she is probably, yeah, she's definitely my favourite YA author. I adore her books so much. And I read Splinters of Scarlet last year, and as I was reading it, it's just one of those books where it's like, it reminded me so much of a Laura Wood book, so obviously I had to include it in this video. So if you don't know about Laura Wood's books, Laura Wood writes YA historical fiction that are generally set in England. This book it's set in Cornwall, one of her other books is set across the UK, another one is set in Italy, and they are kind of like 1920s, 1930s when they are set. And Splinters of Scarlet is set in the 1900s. It's like the 18 something, so I think it is 1900s. Please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not very good at my history. But it's set in Copenhagen, and this is a magical historical fiction. This one isn't, it's just like a straight up historical fiction. This is a magical one, and like the writing, that is the main thing that I feel the similarities in this book is the writing. As Laura Wood's writing is very distinct, it's very beautiful, it's also very vivid. Like obviously, especially in this book, you get lots of parties because it's set in the 1920s, and things like the food and kind of the atmosphere and how everything looks and like the clothing is very vivid, and that's what I found similar in Splinters of Scarlet, as this is definitely a different vibe. It's slightly darker vibe than Laura's books, because it is about, it's like a mystery, like a magical historical fiction that's also a mystery, which I really enjoyed. It's very engaging, but the writing is very similar as well because it's also very immersive, as food and kind of how people dress and the atmosphere and the surroundings is a very vivid part in the writing in this book. Especially there's like a magical garden in here as well, so you really get kind of that feeling that you are there, and you get to learn more about the culture of Copenhagen as well, which is really interesting. But like the writing in both of these books just makes you feel like you are there, and there are romances in both of these books, and I would say the romance in this is very similar to kind of Laura Wood's romances as well. So if you're looking for a new historical fiction to read, I highly recommend both of these. They are absolutely stunning, very easy to get into and to lose yourself in. You will read them very quickly, and you will always be engaged with them, and it honestly feels like you are there with the characters. They are just absolutely stunning, and I honestly think more people should read these books because I will never stop praising them, especially Laura's books. They are stunning, and they are great especially if you're kind of more of a beginner when it comes to historical fiction as well. So those are all the books that I'm going to talk about in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry that the lighting's been a bit weird. It's been a bit cloudy at the moment, so the sun keeps going in and out, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's really fun to kind of recommend some books based on other books. I haven't done that in a while, and I feel like I've got some really good like books that are kind of similar. So hopefully if you like one of the books that I've mentioned, you might like the other book that I've recommended, or if you have not read any of the books or either of the books that I have done, I hope that you may pick up one of them or both of them or all of them and find something that you will enjoy, because I feel like it's exciting when you kind of hear about your favourite book and another book that's similar. It instantly makes you want to read it. So I hope you found a book that you might enjoy, and let me know in the comments if you would like to recommend a book based on one of the ones that I've talked about in this video, or a book that you think people would like if they have read another book as well. Hopefully that makes sense, but I'd love to know because I'm always looking for more recommendations of this kind of style that are similar to books that I love or books that I've read and really enjoyed. So it'd be lovely to talk to you guys about that in the comments below. If you like this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more bookish videos from me, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and little bell icon so you'll be noted every time I post a new video. As always, I will leave the links to my social media along with the links to my Goodreads in the description down below for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!